I believe winning actually creates more scarcity than losing, because when you win, you're afraid to change anything. And when you lose, you know you can change everything. Imagine if you win the championship, you're probably thinking, we just got to do the same exact thing this year. Versus somebody who lost that says, all right, let's try a whole bunch of new stuff.
Yes, it's going to be humbling. Yes, you're going to lose it sometimes, but you're going to win others. And you're going to have way more clarity walking. When you're moving forward, you're gaining clarity. If you are stagnant and stuck, you're not gaining clarity. You're not.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode number 1489. Another reason self-awareness is so important. Today, for episode number 1490, the 2 keys to getting what you want. We talked about this a little bit in the previous episode, but I have certain clients who sometimes, I don't want to say I struggle to coach, but sometimes I feel like we're just spinning our tires, where we'll talk about kind of the same thing every other week. And sometimes I'll message them and say, hey, I feel like we should just exchange audios today, because honestly, I know right now we're working on clarity, or you're working on testing things. And it made me think of this new framework / idea. Because I think a lot of us, we want to get going and we want to get moving and we want to get progress and we want to get momentum. But sometimes we spin our tires for a long period of time because we don't have clarity yet. So this was my thought, and we teased this in the previous episode. Clarity is step 1. Implementation is step 2. Results are delayed from step 1 and step 2. So if you go to someone and you say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much clarity do you have for what you want and who you are, now based on our self-awareness talk? And they said, okay, let's say a level 5. All right, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well are you implementing your strategy based on your awareness of yourself and what you want? It really can't be any higher than 5, if you think about it. And then on a scale of 1 to 10, how are the results that you've achieved through it? It definitely can't be any higher than the first 2, unless you get completely lucky. And if you do, that's a really good... If the results are higher than the clarity and the implementation, odds are you probably got lucky. So that's a good thing to know. But I just think that when people are talking about the law of attraction or attracting things into their lives, oftentimes they're either talking about clarity. Imagine what you want, visualize what you want, imagine what that would be like. I think that's super powerful. The implementation part is where a lot of us get stuck. And we're very big on action, obviously. But I think a very good test for us all would be to say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much clarity do I have? Who I am, where I want to go, who I want to become. Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well am I implementing? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much results do I have? And here's the beautiful thing. When you get more clarity, you're able to implement better. And when you get more results, you're able to get more clear. So sometimes you'll get a result. It'll allow you to get more clear on, I want more of this or I don't want this. Okay, cool. Now that clarity is a level 7. Now we can implement at a level 7, and then we can get level 7 results eventually. So it's very well connected, where implementation will create results and results will create more clarity, and then rinse and repeat that forever. Forever.
What do you think is the best tangible example of that in your life?
Let me move my lips around on my face until I come up with one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this?
I think it's good.
I would say Next Level Podcast Solutions. Clarity of, I want to be the podcast guy. Implementation of going on as many shows as humanly possible. A reckless amount of shows.
Definitely.
Not doing mindset or peak performance coaching anymore. I don't do that anymore at all. And starting a podcast called Podcast Growth University, all about podcasts, that. And then I eventually came to you and said, hey, man, I don't think any of this is working. So maybe we just don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? And you said, Kev, it's been like 3 months. Just keep doing it. It's like, damn. Okay. And now, however many years later, we have 50 some odd clients. We just got a new client today. So Yeah, the clarity of, I don't know if I want to do this mindset, peak performance coaching. I remember early on, I'll never forget this. I remember sitting in the living room with Matt, and I remember having a conversation about, I want to coach high-level athletes and high-level executives, and I want to do all that. And then I remember, like, the next year, we were sitting out on the porch having a conversation, and I was like, dude, I don't think I want to do that. I don't know if that's me. I think that's Alan. I think that's Alan's lane. I got to find my own lane, and I don't know what it is yet. And eventually, we landed on the podcast guy. So I think that's a really good example of that.
And this is the thing, too. If you didn't have enough clarity to do mindset coaching, aka to implement, you would never have realized that that's not really what you want.
That's why it's a perfect cycle. Not perfect, but it's almost like one of the things we've heard many times when people ask us about group coaching is they say, I just don't know if it's the right time because I don't really have clarity yet. It's like, yeah, but you're not going to get clarity until you implement something that creates the opportunity for clarity. It's the chicken or the egg. It's the chicken or the egg. Some of the best things I've ever had the privilege of doing are things that I don't do anymore because they brought me a new level of clarity. I'd rather podcast coach than mindset coach. Really, that's really one of the long-term goals, is to do that more than anything else. But I would never know that if I didn't get clarity around coaching in the first place.
Yeah. If you don't start doing it, you're not going to understand whether or not it's for you or not. I don't think we come into this world, I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I want to be. I know exactly who I want to be. I know exactly what I want to do. I know what my passions are. I know what my purpose is. I know what is most profitable. We don't. We come in completely ignorant with a completely fresh hard drive, and we don't speak any languages. We just get plopped into this world, and we don't know who we are yet. And then we go and do things. We try a bunch of stuff, particularly as kids. And then we say, okay, I really like basketball. I'm not really as big a fan of football. Baseball is a good example. You loved baseball. I didn't even like it. Apparently, I could swing a bat like really well when I was like 2 or 3. Apparently. My mom tells that story. But I didn't like baseball. She wished that I did because she thinks I would have been awesome at it. But I just never cared. Never really liked it. Never liked watching it. Never liked playing it. Even wiffle ball. Everyone loves wiffle ball. I can't stand wiffle ball.
Big fan.
Hate it.
Big fan.
But again, that's just another point. But how would I know if I hate baseball and wiffle ball if I didn't try? I remember we did t-ball back in the day.
Never played t-ball, son. No, I never played. I went right to Farm League. All-star. First time I ever played baseball.
Second team All-State. I'll put the ball wherever you want it.
I was 8 years. 8 years old. 9 years old. Sign the kid up.
Sign him up. One eye. All-star team. Inside jokes. I love it. So you try all these things and you figure out who you're not. I honestly think that's more empowering than I'm going to go. People tell me I don't know what my passion is. It's like, just try stuff.
Yeah.
I started out as a fitness coach. Then I was a mindset coach. Then I was a mindset/fitness coach. Then I was a peak performance coach. Then I was a business consultant. And now I'm a peak performance coach, kind of. The last two that I have with all the different labels, there was high performance coach, there was all these different ones. I eventually landed on peak performance coach and business coach, and I'm leaning more towards business coach. But the only reason I'm doing that is because of all the different coaching. That's the one that I believe I'm best at. That's the one that I like the most. And that's the one that's the most profitable. And so I've honed that over coming up on 4,600 hour-long coaching sessions. So I have 4,600 times where I went and tried a certain type of coaching. And then each call, each session, I kind of knew a little bit more of what I do and don't like. What I do and don't enjoy. What I am and am not good at. People that don't have large goals, I'm not good at coaching you. I'm just not. I'm not nearly as good. Now, if you want to uncover big goals, you can come to me and I can help you with that. But if you don't have clear, specific goals, we have to start there because otherwise I feel useless. I can help you get almost any goal you want within reason. Genuinely, I feel like there's no one better at that. But I'm not good at, I think I'm good at helping you be fulfilled, and I'm helping you get from A to B. And I'm good at helping you maximize your potential. There's a lot of things I'm really, really, really not good at, but I only found that out through tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of trial and error. And so a lot of people say, well, I don't have clarity, so I can't take action. When in reality, you're only going to get clarity after you take action. I mean, how many times has this podcast pivoted, shifted, rebranded? Kevin and I are constantly honing. I can't even tell you how many conversations we've had behind the scenes of Kev being like, dude, I don't know, man. I don't really like that topic. I don't feel like that's me. And then we would swing the pendulum his way. And then I would be like, brother, I don't know if I can talk about that. I don't feel like I believe in that as much. And we just consistently drive to 5. And the product, the service that you're experiencing right now is a byproduct of 1,490 experiments. And we have more clarity on who we are and what we want to do in the world and why, and our flavor of ice cream, so to speak. Everyone who's in the self-improvement industry has their own sort of flavor of ice cream. And we're all selling self-improvement. We're all encouraging you to improve yourself. Some people are doing motivation as their flavor of ice cream. Some people are doing holistic self-improvement like us. Very few, fortunately. Some people are all about peak performance. Some people are all about finance and business. Some people are all about XYZ. But Kevin and I had to consistently and sustainably just show up and show up and show up and show up and show up. And then eventually clarity comes as a byproduct of that. And you just get clearer and clearer and clearer. So we're as clear as we've ever been, who our listener is, who we are, what we're doing, what we're talking about. But we're not as clear as we're going to be. And the key is to just stay on that train. Because when Kev came to me and said, dude, I don't think this is working, when he's going on all these other shows and he's not getting any clients yet and it's not working and it doesn't seem like it's converting, blah, blah, blah. I said, this experiment, you haven't run it long enough. You just haven't run it long enough. 3 months isn't enough time to see the fruits of your labor. You can't plant a seed and expect a tree with fruit in 3 months. So some of these experiments take a long time. They really do. And I think that's why people get tripped up.
And the interesting thing is some of them are really, really quick.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. It depends.
Yeah. Strike oil at your first dig in.
Well, not even that. Just I was on Zoom with a couple coaching clients recently, and I've talked about them a lot, and I love them, and we have a really good relationship. But every time it's like, why aren't you posting on social media? We did the commitment device, and that worked, but you don't want to do another commitment device because you're afraid to miss.
Always
and
works.
I said, this is what I want to do. I said, we're very clear. We want to get more clients, right? Are we in agreement? Yes. Awesome. This is what we're going to do. We have a half hour left on this call. I am going to shut my mouth and say no more, and you're going to send messages to people on social media. That's what's going to happen here. And I said, how uncomfortable does that make you feel? And they're like, pretty uncomfortable. I said, that's good, because we need to implement. And one of them got a client right there in the next 5 minutes. And I was like, imagine if you just did that every day. Can you even imagine what would happen? And I said, this has nothing to do with me. I just sat here and held space while you did it. And I kind of helped them understand the right words and right phrases to say. But I didn't do anything different. We just implemented.
People are looking for the perfect implementation, though. That's the thing. There isn't one.
I know.
This is a really good conversation. I created a blog called The Sales Star, How to Become a Sales Star. And it's just 5 steps. It's really simple. It's get exposure. It's make a connection. It's have a meaningful conversation. It's offer a compelling solution. And then the 5th step is follow up. Sales is not that complicated. It's not. It just feels really complicated.
Yeah.
When in reality, all it is reach out to the people who want to connect with you and ask them if they know anyone who might be interested. We make things so complex when in reality, underneath it is just fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of judgment. Kevin and I got asked recently to potentially give a speech. And I asked Kev, what do you think we should speak on? And he said, fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of judgment. If we do go and give that speech, when he said that, I was like, that is the best speech I've ever, dude, that might be the best thing you've ever come up with, honestly. Because think about it. Is there a single human who is not afraid of at least one of those three things?
I don't think so, no.
Imagine a speech on how to overcome those three things. Imagine if you weren't afraid of failure at all. Be honest with yourself. Imagine if you weren't afraid of rejection and if you weren't afraid of judgment. You would be limitless. You'd be so unbelievably unlocked and unleashed. And the point that I want to make here to bring it back to the framework is you think you don't have clarity. You do, more than you think. You think you can't implement unless you have some perfect implementation, some perfect training program. I can't even tell you when I fitness coached, they would ask me, like, what's your exact training plan? I wing it. I'm going, now, again, it's kind of like a high-level winging it is what we've been kind of saying. Shout out to Amy L. She calls it high-level winging it. The point is I go to the gym and I have a general outline. I have push, which is certain muscle groups. I have pull and I have legs. But what I do depends on who's on what machine, what's available, what I feel like doing. I don't have some perfect regimented training plan. Now, I have one that I send to them. And there's this one training plan. I just sent it to Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. And I'm like, dude, this thing is like world class. But here's the thing. It's so good, you're not going to probably sustain it. It's like really difficult. Dude, there's the weighted dips in there. I mean, there's so many nuances to the perfect plan, the perfect regiment, the perfect implementation is almost impossible to sustain. That's why messy action leads to clarity. Messy action is the way.
Hi there. This is Dr. Tarryn McCarthy, and I am the host of the Business of Happiness podcast, which would not be in existence were it not for the one and only Kevin Palmieri. He helped me put it together with his great expertise, and every week his whole team works tirelessly to get these podcasts uploaded to Buzzsprout and to deliver my content to my audience. I am so grateful. I couldn't say enough about him. Please, if this is something you're considering, I highly recommend him.
Kevin and I can jump on these microphones and add a lot of value, but hopefully, the only reason we can is because we've done it so many times before, and we were willing to risk not having it perfect. And I just feel like everyone is waiting for this perfect formula, this perfect recipe. When in reality, ironically, the perfect recipe only appears once you start making cakes and screwing them up and, eating them anyway and feedback loops and that kind of thing. So don't wait for the perfect fitness plan. Don't wait for the perfect equipment for your podcast. Don't wait for the perfect title. Don't wait for the perfect anything. Implement, and improve along the way, sustainably and consistently, and you're going to find yourself having so much more clarity than when you started.
Based on our conversation here, I'm going to change the next episode we were going to do. I'm just doing that in real time right now. That's why if I do not seem interested in what Alan is saying, that is not true. I'm just writing it down because I will forget.
Do it, brother. I'll sing.
What are you singing?
Baby, you're all that I want.
Nice little Bryan Adams, I believe.
When you're lying here in my arms, it's not too hard to see. We're in heaven.
Was that it? I think it was...
Dude, I don't know.
Finding it hard to believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say, this is the next level nugget. One of the reasons success is very challenging is because, let's just say, for example, we were talking about the gym, so let's just say the gym, hypothetically. Let's just say there's 5 exercises. Each exercise requires clarity, implementation, and then results. Everything requires the same system. So it's almost like you might be really good at one exercise. I did squats today at the gym, and I got a buddy at the gym named Jorge, and he saw me grinding out my last rep. And, we made eye contact after, and he took off his headphones. He's like, dude, your squat form is perfect. I was like, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. And I explained, I said, so think of it, clarity, implementation, results. I said, yeah, I do mobility every single day because I understand that mobility is the reason my form is as good as Definitely. It is. When I'm not doing mobility, my form isn't nearly as good. Implementation, I've been squatting for 15 years. Have I been squatting correctly for 15 years? Definitely.
How many of those years
not.
have you been squatting optimally?
Maybe, oh man, 6 maybe. I remember we used to go out Friday nights. We would go out and drink all the liquor, all of it. Every ounce I could get my hands on, all of it. I would drink it into my belly. And then me and a couple of my buddies would get up at like 8 o'clock on Saturday, and I remember I would go to the gym and that was it. Just walk in, get under the squat rack, and warm up with a couple, and used to hit sets of 315 for 10, and just mayhem. So it wasn't very good. But all that is, I appreciated that compliment very much from Jorge. Jorge's a great dude. The clarity of, I want to grow my legs. This is how I learn how to squat. Something's wrong with my right leg. My ankle seems really tight. I need to do more mobility. Oh, more clarity. When I do mobility, my squats are better. Interesting. Okay, now I can get clear on how to schedule those into my day, implement results. But the results always come, I don't know, if you're a 10 out of 10, let's say you're a 9 out of 10 clarity and a 9 out of 10 implementation, you're going to be a 1 out of 10 results for probably, I don't know, what do you think? 2 or 3 times the amount you're implementing? At least?
Ask me the question again.
Say you're 9 out of 10 clarity.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 implementation.
Yeah.
Probably takes at least a multiple of so let's say you've been implementing you get a 9 out of 10 level of implementation. You're like, all right, I feel like I'm off to the races. You got to do that for 2 years before you start to get results.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
It depends on what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah, you'll get incremental results along the way, but results are always going to lag clarity and implementation.
Yes.
Almost always.
I just don't know to what degree.
I have a story that will articulate this, and then I know we got to jump. So I was on the phone with a client on Zoom. Bianca wouldn't mind me sharing this. It was with Bianca. And she's 3 years into business. And she came to me and she said, I just don't know enough about business. And I really appreciate her humility. And when she's saying that, it's not like she doesn't know anything. She actually knows more than most. But when she's not enough to build what they're trying to build, right? So I appreciate her humility so much. But I said, well, of course not. You're 3 years in. She's like, well, what do you mean? I said, how long have you been doing fitness? She's like, how long have I been doing fitness correctly? Or that's always the next question, you know? No. I said, how long have you been doing fitness? How long have you been trying to improve your physique? She said, oh, God, 12 years? I said, okay. And just how many years have you felt like you've really got it dialed in? She's like, maybe the last 2.5. I was like, okay, 12 years into business, you'll feel the same way. That's why we get so screwed up. And again, everyone listening right now, think of the thing you're awesome at. If you just really give yourself credit. I have one person in book club who's awesome at drawing and painting. I have one person who's great at crocheting. I have one person who's unbelievable at communication. I have one who's the best teacher ever. Think of the thing that you now think about it. How long have you been doing it? You're never going to say, I started about 3 months ago. Are you kidding me? Never. We just screw up with that you have to implement for a really long time before you get results. I mean, what's something you're awesome at, Kev?
Pretty much everything I do, really.
Being funny, we'll say that. Okay.
Sure.
How long have you been doing that?
Since I don't know, for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, your whole entire life, essentially. Yeah. Right? Okay.
I'd say so.
That's why he's good at it, you know? And I just think that we have this wrong idea. You know, we think we're going to be good at stuff immediately. We think we should have clarity immediately. We think we need to be great before we implement. And if you can just get rid of that. If you can just get rid of that and just implement and just take that next step and that next step and that next step. Yes, it's going to be humbling. Yes, you're going to lose it sometimes, but you're going to win others. And you're going to have way more clarity walking. When you're moving forward, you're gaining clarity. If you are stagnant and stuck, you're not gaining clarity. You're not. And there's no real... I remember I said this will be the last thing I say, I promise. I said this to one of my friends at the time, and he didn't take nicely to it. But I said, do you know how you get really good at chess? And he's like, how? I said, you just go lose a ton of chess. Just go lose. Go play people that are better than you. Just go. And he's like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He literally said that. It's like, no, that's not dumb. That's actually really smart. I'm going to be way better at chess. If you have belief.
It's
fair.
very smart.
That's fair. If you have
challenge you on that,
Yeah, that's fair.
If I'm playing you and you're dunking on me with a horse, I'm going to be like, I don't think chess is for me, son.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Uno or something.
Okay, presupposing that you stick with it. Losing is actually more valuable than winning because you get better and you can go back to the drawing board and figure out where you didn't have clarity and what you didn't understand before and blah, blah, blah. So I think the person who succeeds the most is the person who loses the longest, eventually, assuming that you keep doing it, keep showing up, and keep improving along the way. And I know that's a big assumption based on self-belief, so I appreciate the challenge on that.
This would be my next level nugget. I believe winning actually creates more scarcity than losing because when you win, you're afraid to change anything. And when you lose, you know you can change everything. Imagine if you win the championship, you're probably thinking, we just got to do the same exact thing this year. Versus somebody who lost that says, all right, let's try a whole bunch of new stuff. I feel like there's more abundance in the opportunity of growth than there is.
Well said.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
that's true.
It's almost like you're playing not to lose versus playing to win.
Yeah, when you're already the champions, you're basically playing scared, trying not to lose.
That's my next level nugget.
That's why the underdogs have an advantage.
Yeah, sometimes. Depends.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I do.
Because they stay humble. They stay open-minded.
Some fights on today. I got a couple underdog bets.
Do you?
Live dogs, as they call them. We'll see.
They call them live dogs?
Yeah, live dogs are like the underdogs that are worth betting on.
Oh.
Yeah. Just a little betting terminology.
Cool. I'm learning.
You're always learning from me. The valuable stuff. I teach you the valuable stuff. You've been teaching me useless stuff for years. I'll teach you about cars and UFC and betting. It's going to be awesome. You're really coming around. Next Level Nation.
Oh, man.
If you would be so kind, we are on pace. Well, last month ended towards one of the higher months we've had. This month is off to a really good start as well. If you have not left us a review and you feel like we have impacted you in some positive way, maybe I made you laugh, maybe Alan burped into the microphone and that got you going or something.
Definitely.
If you would be kind enough to leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice, again, when you go to Amazon and you're getting ready to buy a product, or any store really, what are you doing? Oftentimes you're looking at the reviews. So while that doesn't necessarily help us with the algorithm or any of that, it will help more amazing people like you find us, look at the review and say, you know what, I'm going to give these two weirdos a shot. So we would appreciate that very much.
Kevin and I, as you know, if you're a long-term listener, if you're a new listener, you may not have heard this, but so Kevin and I both were raised by two women. He was raised by his Mima and his mom, and his father left when he was very young. My father passed away in a car accident when I was 2 years old, and I was raised by my mom and my older sister. And we understand the challenges and have experienced the challenges of being raised by single parents. And so we started a charity called the Next Level Hope Foundation. And we actually saw on Facebook one of the kids wearing one of the shirts, which was really cute. It says on the back, "The future is next level." And the idea is every Father's Day and every holiday season, we host an event where we bring kids together for a fun day. And the idea behind the holiday event coming up in December is helping single parents. We actually get gifts for each of the kids. It was mayhem last year. And the picture, huge boxes of gifts in the center, and then all of the kids running to the center and like grabbing gifts out of the boxes. And Kevin's
like little
sitting
dinosaurs.
there.
Like little dinosaurs coming for their meals.
Sitting there with a list trying to like call the names and pick out the right gifts for the right kids while they're all running away. It's awesome. Yes. One of my favorite memories of all time is the mayhem that was. But anyways, so we do that every December, and we're doing that again. So we don't have anything on the website yet, and we do have a GoFundMe, so we are accepting donations. We don't have it set up yet. That's on us. We're working on it. It's December. Do you know the date?
10th?
December 10th, we're renting out the YMCA, and it's just this awesome, fun-filled day. We're going to have a video and everything to show you soon, but if you do want to contribute, please reach out to Kevin or myself. We can put you on a list, and we'll let you know when the link is available to contribute to the GoFundMe.
And we will be matching donations up to
Yes.
what I don't know if we know the amount. Did you say?
I have to
don't-
look it up.
Yeah, I'm
so
not sure.
we're matching. I think we matched 500 last year. So I think we're gonna match. We're gonna double every year. I just got to check our records. But essentially, we matched at least 250 last year, if not 500. But we match up to a certain amount, and our goal is to contribute double each year. We're gonna try to double each year our contributions to the kids.
Right on. Tomorrow for episode number 1491, and this came to me in real time when we were talking about this. You're supposed to take the training wheels off. I had a very powerful conversation with a client recently that made me realize a lot of us we're setting ourselves up to look good now, which won't teach us the skills to look good forever. So I want to do an episode on that. I think that'll be a really good episode. And when I say look good forever, obviously you're going to make mistakes and not look good. Tune into the episode. We'll talk more about it. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Keep implementing to gain clarity. Next Level Nation.
And get results. Next Level Nation.